Aujourd'hui, je vais parler de the great spectacle that is the Olympics and how silly the medal count controversy lasted all the way until the last day. Dramatic stuff. So did the USA really win the medal count? How would we even count the winner in medals? Does any of this silliness even matter? Oops, I guess I just tipped my hand, didn't I? Hey, XenPuck here. Today I want to address such an important question as, who is the best country in the world? Oh wait, that's not a question anyone can answer without being biased, right? Oh, drats. I guess the Olympics that just happened, we can use that as an approximation, right? And for once, the medal count contest was somewhat close. Who knew that could happen? So I'll share some of my thoughts and end with probably some statements that will get everyone mad at me. But hey, I choose to be on the internet. C'est la vie. Right off the bat, caveat, okay? I love the USA because I live here, and I love China because that's where I was born. If I had to pick, I probably love the USA just a bit more. But come on, it's hard to root for the dominant power of the world, right? Everyone likes an underdog story, and the USA is hardly an underdog in sports, right? So ideally, I'd like to see a tie between my old country and my chosen country. Alas, that is very hard to achieve, especially since I only have the power of my imagination to accomplish that with, right? So don't take anything I say that seriously. I'm happy either the USA or China ends up on top, okay? All right. As long as it's not Japan, I'm good. So here are all the absurdities that I can think of related to this particular Olympics, right? Point number one. First of all, how the medal count coverage was done. Why the heck does the US news sources list countries by total medal count, when clearly everywhere else, including the official Olympics website, count or list countries by number of gold medals first, all right? Everyone cares about total gold first, not total medals, right? That's just silly. It makes the American news sources look absolutely ridiculous and petty, like a middle school brat who simply changes rules on how to, count a contest when he's losing. I mean, everyone knew that most likely the USA will win the medal count by the end, right? Gold or otherwise. You know why? Because it's the only remaining superpower in the world, okay? Money, ultimately, is what makes great sportsmen into champions, okay? Sportsmen or sportswomen, obviously. So why use these ridiculous methodology changes in the middle of a 2-week period just so, what? That the US would always look like it's on top? I mean, I thought it was so absurd that it's actually kind of funny, because I can imagine a scenario. Let's imagine if the USA wasn't in the lead for gold or total medals, but it was in the lead for most bronzes, okay? If that happens, then I'm positive some US news sources would then start listing countries by most bronze medals, just so that the USA will stay on top. I mean, seriously, how insecure can a country be to be the only country to change methodology as to who's winning the medal count in the middle of an Olympics? Shame, I say. I mean, I can't believe I'm saying this, but the majority of how the US news sources in regards to medal counts during the Tokyo Olympics can only be described at best as terrible reporting and at worst fake news. Okay, I can't believe I ever utter that phrase, but it's true. Gold is what anybody cares about, not total medal counts, okay? Golds only. Seriously, why even count silvers and bronzes? Those are for first and second losers. I mean, really, getting a medal is great for the athletes and for themselves, but for the country? Who would want to be the country known for most silvers, for example? Country of the most losers? What? Nobody cares about silver or bronze, okay, except for the athletes, again. Number two, just a tangent. I really love watching the Javelin Throw, right? Out of all the sports, Javelin Throw, awesome, because like a lot of Olympic events, it actually approximates a skill from ancient warfare. However, I do want to note that unlike a lot of the weapon-based events like shooting or archery, somehow Javelin Throw is part of track and field, and then the athletes are only measured on how far they can toss a javelin. How the heck does that make any sense? The sport literally approximates an old way of killing the enemy. Tossing it far alone means nothing. Imagine if an archer is being judged as how far you could shoot an arrow. What? So if an archer is judged primarily based on accuracy, shouldn't javelin be judged the same way? I mean, someone else explain this to me, because it's just mind-blowing how stupid it is to just judge javelin tossers on distance. Okay, point number 3. Now back to the medal controversy, right? I hear a lot of insecurities, not just from Americans, but also, on the Chinese side, right? About how important it is to actually win the gold medal count, okay? First of all, let me be clear. China has 4x the population of the US, at the very least. So even getting to the same medal count or having 1 or 2 more, I mean, is that great of an accomplishment? Now, as someone of the Chinese ethnicity, obviously, I'd be happy if China wins the medal count, because it has never won it before, right? But with a much, much, much larger pool of people to pick from, real parity should be done, via medal per capita, right? This parallels how people judge wealth of countries, right? These days, all I hear about, by the way, medals, wealth is very similar, right? All I hear is like, oh, US is going to overtake the US, China is going to overtake the US in economy. Similar sort of race, right? But really the same issue. The per capita wealth of China is nowhere near the US, right? You know what the ratio actually is? The per capita of the US is 4x of China, right? So just getting to parity in terms of income or medals, China has a long, long, long way to go still, okay? Point number 4. Now I want to get to the crux of it. Now, who actually won this medal count of the most recent Olympics? You think that sounds pretty simple, right? Since we have all we care about is gold, we can just look at the official tally on the official Olympics website and says USA 39 golds, China 38, right? Simple. The US wins by a sliver. Actually, no, okay? Go on that same page, all right, of the medal count and just Google China or Chinese. You know why? What about Hong Kong's 1 gold? Okay, that's Hong Kong, China. Hong Kong's definitely part of China, okay? And filled with Chinese people. Boom, now we're tied 39 golds to 39 golds. But wait, Chinese Taipei has 2 golds. Yes! Now, I'm not getting political, but as far as I know, Taiwan's part of China, according to both ruling entities in that mess, okay? Whether you're, People's Republic of China or Republic of China, whatever, everybody agrees this is all China. So I think if you're just being patriotic, right, when you're talking about Olympics based on what type of people, then the Chinese wins by 2 extra golds. Now, hey, you might say, well, if you count these extra territories of China, what about the peripheral areas of the USA? Okay, that's a fair point, right? Made me curious, so I looked up what overseas territories of the US brought their own delegation. Turns out there are 4 additional territories of the US that has their own National Olympic Committees. These are American Samoa, Guam, Puerto Rico, and the US Virgin Islands. Okay, so let's go tally up their gold counts. Unfortunately, as far as I could tell, out of the 4, only Puerto Rico medaled in anything, okay? And it was a bronze, so no extra gold. Oh well. So if we're competing not on political entities, but simply on nationalist pride, then China either ties or plains on wins in this totally topsy-turvy of an Olympics. Oh man. By the way, and just for fun, I'm super curious. Question I have no answers for. Why didn't Tokyo 2020 change its name to Tokyo 2021? I mean, this is all just a money grab, isn't it? Right? The cynic in me tells me that they kept 2020 because they already made all the merchandise with Tokyo 2020 on it, and simply didn't want to redo all that useless junk selling work. I mean, isn't that also absurd, right? Who wants to be remembered to have competed in a year that they didn't actually compete in? Right? Especially because 2020 is dominated by a once-in-a-century pandemic, right? Who wants to be remembered for that year when you didn't even compete in that year? Think about this. Like right now, we all know Tokyo 2020 happened in 2021. I mean, a decade or 2 later, who will actually remember that Tokyo 2020 wasn't actually competed in 2020, right? What a bunch of lazy dunces. Here, I thought the Japanese were at least supposed to be known for efficiency or precision or something. Guess not, right? So what do you guys think actually won? Or who do you guys think actually won the Olympics medal count? Does it even matter? I mean, I think all sports is basically just entertainment, right? So I don't really care who wins. But it sure is fun to start up a pot, huh? Well, cheers. À la prochaine.